Hi YouTube! Okay, hopefully this is going to work and not be too messed up, because having trouble with the lighting, but I think I've figured it out. So what I've done is I've got a floodlight, pointed it at the ceiling, which is then diffusing the light down onto me and sort of illuminating all the shadows, so hopefully this is going to work. And for James Monkey Spaz, yeah. Okay, so what was I going to talk about? Ah yes, the Megadrive. So this is my second svideo mod. This is where I've ordered the chip from China. If you want to know, it's a CXA2075 and it's replacing the CXA1145 that's currently in the Megadrive 1. So the reason for this is that the picture coming out of the Megadrive on the TV is fine, but when you plug it into a capture card or an LCD, it wobbles. So the way that I'm trying to get around this is by taking the older chip out, which is like from the 1980s, and replace it with something more modern. So that's what I've done. So you will see that in a sec. Yeah, I couldn't get it to work, the colour to work, and in the end I figured it out. So well, let's take a look and see how I did it. Okay, so this is the chip that I'm going to be soldering. And this is the UK's smallest coin, the 5p. So as you can see, we're dealing with some very small solder points. Okay, I'll show you the other thing as well while I've got this camera out, and that is the board that I got from China. And they come in twos, and then what I've done is I've just hacksawed them apart, so it sort of went like that, or the other way around maybe, I'm not sure. Anyway, so they come in twos, and they've got two different sides. So you've got this side for the even smaller ones. I mean, imagine trying to solder something that small. That's just crazy. Again, these are 24 pins, so there's 24 pins on these, and they're just so tiny. So well, let's try and solder them. Well, I have to say, what an amazing soldering iron. I whacked it up to 450 Celsius, and the solder virtually melts as soon as it touches, and I've got the pins on. So, right, just time to wire up the wires to the Megadrive then. Now I've got the chip ready. Okay, so what I've got here now is the white. Where's my finger? There it is. White is the 5 volts. Black is the ground. I've grounded this pin here. And that makes it power instead of NTSC. Sorry about the shaking, but I have to zoom right in. And then the other power that's going across is for the other side of the chip, because it's actually two different parts to this chip. You've got the input and the output, so they're actually separate, so you have to power both of them. So they're both powered. So now what I need to do is connect the signals from the Megadrive and connect it up to my TV and see if I get a picture. And there's no other components needed for this, because all this modern chip, everything's built in. So all I need to do is just run the cable straight through. So hopefully this is going to be very simple. I did have a bit of a struggle with one of the pins, because a bit of the solder touched the other pin, and then that was it. I could not get it off, and in the end I actually destroyed the pin. But luckily it was one that wasn't meant to be connected, so no loss there. Okay, let's plug it into the Megadrive and see if we can get a picture out of it. Okay, so there I've wired up the RGB and the sync signal. So I'll take a 5 volt and a ground up to the chip, and hopefully have an output. We will see. Okay, so I'm still getting interference, so what I've decided to do is remove the old chip completely rather than tapping off of it, and then wire the new one in. So these will be the cables, the RGB and the sync. They'll get wired directly into the board. There's the old chip completely taken out, and I'll just do a comparison against the new chip, if you can see this. So there's the new chip, if it will stay still, and there's the old chip, and you can see the difference in size is quite substantial. But anyway, we'll give this new connection a go and then see what happens. Okay, so I wired it all up, and then the Megadrive wouldn't turn on. I was like, oh, what the hell? So I couldn't figure out what was wrong with the Megadrive. So I checked all the connections and everything, and still nothing. Couldn't get the thing to turn on. Got really frustrated. Got to 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm thinking, I just give up. So I cut everything I've done. So there's the RGB and the sync and the power. There's the power and everything, and I disconnected everything, turned it on, still nothing. Thing is dead Megadrive. Anyway, comes to this morning, flip the power on, and if you listen, it's bloody working again. What the hell? Incredibly frustrating. So what I have to do now is desolder everything that I've done so I can get the new wires back in. So luckily a friend at work has given me one of these, which is a solder sucker. So I just melt the solder and then suck it off. Okay, sorry if it's flickery, it's the camera and the lamp, they don't like each other. This is the board after I've wired it. So the chip is on that side, and there's a few components to get it running. There's this thing which is for the fine control of the power of the signal. That's the board before I wired it, so there's a bit of a difference. The Sega's running again now. Move this lamp out of the way a bit. Actually, let's turn the lamp off, and that might give us a clearer picture. We'll turn it down so we can hear what's going on. Hear me, even. So that's only coming through the headphones, so it's amazing how much power comes out of these things. Yeah, so it's sort of working. The problem is, I'll show you. Yeah, the problem with my crappy digital camera is that you can't zoom or focus while recording, so you have to pause it and then... Anyway, so the problem is colour, or their lack of. So the chip is working because the sync is coming through, otherwise we wouldn't be getting a picture. It's a lot smoother, even though if you look at the edges you can see there's still a little wobble there, but I think I've figured out what causes that, so I'm going to fix that. But there's still this colour issue where on the camera that might look blue, but it's not, it's black and white. So yeah, I just need to figure out why the colour is not coming through, because the actual picture is being generated by RGB. So in theory it can only be colour because it's red, green and blue. To make it black and white they'd all have to be the same signal. So yeah, a bit more investigation and hopefully I'll have this sussed and a super duper picture. We will see. Yes, I forgot to, well I didn't forget, I haven't wired the sound in yet. So, Sega, dun 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 dun, and all that noise. So, anyway, I'm not going to play music in my... you can see that there's sort of still a bit of interference. Now, none of these cables are shielded. So this interference, it could be from lack of shielding. You can see down the right hand side there. Anyway, this is the end of the clip. Okay, so there you go. That's the Megadrive all modded up with the new chip. So as you saw, it was the sine wave was what was missing. I wired in the wrong pin. So I thought that all you needed was RGB and a sync, but it turns out that you need this sine wave to modulate with the not the chroma, it's the chroma I think, or the luma, I forget, whichever signal it is, but you need to do this sine wave thingy to modulate the colour, and there you go, you get colour. So that's it. Hopefully this has worked, and if you want to join in, you know, send me a message, and because I've got this console that I'm building, and you know, from my experience of soldering in this thing, that will help towards building the console and having a video circuit. So that's it. Thanks.